All right, time has come for us to tackle another scenario. This one has to do with automatic geometric calculations. So we're going to take the shape of a circle, and we're going to write an object-oriented program. We're going to write a class with two methods that is going to calculate the area and the circumference of the circle. So first thing we're going to do is create a file. So just goes without saying, I want you to attempt this on your own if you feel ready, but I'm going to be doing the solution to this myself in the following video. So you create a file named circle.py. You create a circle class and its constructor method, the init. You then create two methods. First one is going to be the calculation of the area. The second one is going to be the calculation of the circumference. Then you do just a while loop, for loop. You do a loop that requests user input. So the user is going to put in the radius, and the program is then going to put out the circumference and the area of that circle. The output is going to look like this. So this is just a screenshot of what I did in PyCharm. We put in the radius and it prints out the area and circumference. So this is in my example, it's in the while loop, and it just keeps asking and we keep adding and it keeps calculating. So here is the summary of the task ahead of us. First up, we are going to need to create the circle class and the constructor method. That's going to be the init, which is going to take in the radius to construct the circle object. So in the circle object, in the circle class, we're going to need a calculation method for the circle's area and a calculation method for the circumference. Finally, after this, we're going to need a mixture of a loop and an input that basically uses the circle object to calculate area and circumference. Now I'm going to do this in two steps. The first one is the shortest and easiest, and the second is using best practices. Now, you'll know what that is when we get to it, but let's just get started. On top of this program, I'm going to import math because I will be using math.py. So, import math. So, here we're going to create the class circle. And just for argument's sake, I'm just going to outline what's in it. So, there's going to be an init method, and that's going to have a radius parameter. So for now, I'll just make that pass. There's going to be a area method. So I'm just going to call that area. I'll pass. There's going to be a circumference method, and I'll also put a pass into that. So those are going to be the methods. The actual code is going to have to do something like this. We need to create a circle, so we can call circle, and that's going to be circle here. Now that circle is actually going to have to be created from a radius given by the user. Now, I can make this an int or float. I'll just make it a float just in case. Radius equals to float of input, and say, please enter radius. So that's going to save that. Then we're going to create a circle with radius that the user specified, and then we are going to print out the calculation. So we're going to print like area and circumference area, and that's going to be circle.area. And we're going to print circumference, and right here next to it, separated by a comma, is going to be circle.circumference. So we actually, that's definitely a method, so we should put the brackets. Okay, so I think that is an outline. Obviously, this is going to need to go into a cycle, but we can worry about that later. This works once off. Iterating it is not going to be a problem. Krikle. Thank you, PyCharm. Okay, So let's get into creating the functions. Now, given that these are going to be values, they're going to be floating point values, we should definitely use return statements. So area of a circle is pi r squared. So return math dot pi times self dot radius squared. That'll do it. For a circumference, it's 2 pi r. So we're going to return 2 times math dot pi times self dot radius. Now, is this going to work? Radius. Let's try it out. Enter 7. Yes. Okay, so now the process is finished. So we need to basically have this run in a loop. The forever loop in Python is while true, and watch it cycle. Enter radius. As you can see, that works like a charm. Now, I also mentioned that I'm going to do it the easiest way, and then I'm going to do it the best practice way. Well, the best practice way would be so that this object, this circle object, only gets created once. And then we change the radius, for which we can create a method. So let's just say you have a circle, you create it, that circle has some initial radius, it could be 1. And instead of recreating the circle, instead of creating a brand new object here, we could basically say circle dot change radius, and then put the radius value in here. So to execute that, we're going to need, as I said, one more method, def change radius, which is going to take a parameter, which can be new radius, and self.radius equals to new radius. So this should work just the same, but instead we only have the object created once, and all that's changing is actually we're changing the radius of that one original object. Alright, so that wraps up the exercise. I'm just going to recap what we did. We created a class circle with one attribute, the radius. That's all a circle needs. It has 3 methods. One returns area, another returns circumference, and one actually changes its only attribute, which is the radius. And here, you cycle through asking the user to enter a radius and keep giving the user accurate values for the area and circumference of the circle of the specified radius.